They're back at it. A Dixie County Pizza Shop is selling every menu item, this time to help a church in Horseshoe Beach recover following Hurricane Idalia. TV 20's Misty Webb tells us one reason these funds are beneficial to the First Baptist Church's recovery.
Papa Luigi's Pizzeria has held about 30 fundraisers within the last 2 years, but this is the only one that will last 3 days. 100% of the proceeds of food sales will go towards the First Baptist Church. This church in Horseshoe Beach was hit by Idalia, resulting in extensive interior damage.
It basically busted through the door, the water. There was about 7 foot of water that went through. It destroyed everything in the building.
Although the exterior wasn't damaged, they lost essential things such as their sound equipment, benches, and Bibles. But Pastor Donnie says he is happy with how close-knit the community has been in the aftermath.
I'm so proud to be the pastor of First Baptist Church, Horseshoe Beach. What a great community. They just came together and loved on each other and helped, and that's what we've tried to do here, and I'm just excited about what God's doing.
Pastor Donnie says the aftermath of Idalia won't stop them from meeting. As of right now, the congregation is holding services in the fellowship building next to the main building. People involved in the church are working together to rebuild and reopen soon. And with Papa Luigi's help, they will get closer to recovering sooner than initially planned.
It'll probably help a lot because everything up there got destroyed, so they don't really have funding or people to do anything, so it's really going to help with paying for things and paying for people to do work there.
The fundraiser will last until Thursday. Misty Webb, TV 20 News.